Kim, what is our fourth main topic today?
All right, this comes from Dallas Cowboys for Life. Hey, John. Okay, so no one liked Iron Fist, but almost all of us liked Jessica Henwick's Colleen Wing. Did you see her interview where she confirms the reason she decided to be in Matrix instead of Shang-Chi was because she was afraid that if she was in Shang-Chi, it would kill any chances of her returning as Colleen Wing. But if they were even considering her for Shang-Chi, wouldn't that have meant that they don't plan on bringing her back anyway?
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yes, first of all, the really interesting story here. So Jessica Henwick, who played Colleen Wing in the pretty much universally despised Iron Fist show, pretty much universally despised, but also pretty much universally everybody liked her and her character of Colleen Wing. And a lot of people even speculated Netflix may do, I mean, this was years ago. At the time, people speculated Netflix may actually do a Colleen Wing show, because the response to her character was so good. Now, we've seen her pop up in a couple of other things. Things are going so well, she gets offered, well, the opportunity to audition for 2 separate big high-profile films. She gets offered the opportunity to come in and audition for Matrix Resurrections, a new Matrix movie, or a new Marvel film called Shang-Chi. Now, there's never been any official confirmation about which role she was up for. She clearly was not up for the Katie role played by Awkwafina, because she said in one interview she was invited to come in and do a test read with Simu Liu. Awkwafina was actually cast in Shang-Chi before Simu Liu was. So that means she wasn't going in to read for Katie, which means more likely she was probably going in for Shang-Chi's sister, Ziling. I can't remember what the sister's name was. But at any rate, and I loved who they got to play it. But so apparently that was probably going to be the character she was offered. However, apparently, according to the reports that I read, Warner Brothers and Disney both told her, you can't audition for both. You got to pick which one you want to audition for, which kind of sucks because neither of them were guaranteeing her the job. Like, so she could turn down the Matrix Resurrections audition, go and audition for Shang-Chi, and then be told, no, you didn't get the role for Shang-Chi. But at any rate, so that news is about a month old, that she kind of had opportunity to go in and audition at a high level for both of those movies. And she ultimately went with Matrix Resurrections. But now we're finding out today, one of the main reasons that she chose to go over to Matrix Resurrections, and that's because she knew that if she did come over and play it, it completely shuts the door on any possibility of maybe her being able to come back to the MCU as Colleen Wing. This comes to us from a report that I got out of Joe Blow where it says the following. Jessica said this. Jessica Henwick, who played Colleen Wing, she says, that definitely did come up in the conversation. If I did Shang-Chi, I would effectively be putting Colleen to bed. It wasn't the main factor, but it definitely came up in the conversation. I love Colleen Wing. She changed my life. Of course, if I was given the opportunity to revisit her, I would, but I just don't know how likely that is. Charlie Cox knew about that opportunity years ago. He already knew it was happening. I think I would have heard it by now if there was any plans with Colleen. This is really interesting to me on 2 fronts. On the one hand, I think it's super interesting about how still heartfeltly attached that Jessica is to that character of Colleen Wing. Like, maybe the show wasn't beloved, but she knows that was the show that put her on the map for a lot of fans. And so she still feels this incredible connection to the character, and I love that. The other interesting thing to me, anecdotally, is that just another confirmation that the MCU and Kevin Feige does not consider Netflix canon? Because if he was seriously going to bring her over to play a completely different character, and remember, this isn't like Gemma Chan, who, yes, she was in Captain Marvel before she was in Eternals, but she was totally in caked out makeup and unrecognizable as Gemma Chan. So, I mean, that's a different thing altogether. To bring her over, that's basically Kevin Feige saying, yeah, the Netflix universe isn't relevant to ours. It's not the same thing. Just like the same way in WandaVision, when they brought out the Darkhold, and it was a completely different book than the Darkhold they had in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was Kevin Feige's way of saying, yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not connected to our MCU. They pretended they were connected to us, but we are not connected to that at all. This is a different thing. It almost feels like the fact that he was willing to bring in Colleen Wing is him saying, yeah, the Netflix stuff is not in continuity with us, or else he would have had to go in a different direction. He also already did that with, why am I freezing on two-time Academy, Mahershala Ali. He already did that with Mahershala Ali, saying, okay, yeah, he was Cottonmouth, but since Netflix isn't really connected to our universe, he can also be Blade. He can be Blade. So I find that interesting at the same time. Now, look, do I think she made the wrong decision? Not necessarily, because in as much that I did not like The Matrix, she acquitted herself very well in that movie.
She was the only thing that I liked.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things I liked. I mean, I like Keanu. I like Carrie-Anne Moss, and I also liked. Well, sorry, I don't want to say that, might be a spoiler, but you know, the General. I'll say the General. I like the General, but she acquitted herself. Jessica acquitted herself very, very well in that movie, and would she have acquitted herself as well if she played Shang-Chi's sister? Not sure. Maybe she would have. Maybe she wouldn't have. We'll never know. But she was a standout to me in Matrix 4. So I don't think it was a bad decision at all. So I just thought this was a very, very interesting story. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Jessica Henwick, basically one of her things was, but if I do Shang-Chi, that permanently means I can never be back as Colleen Wing. Interesting choice. And what do you think about her choice to choose doing Matrix 4 over Shang-Chi? Whatever you guys think about that, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.